At this time, I'd like to call the Monday, February 12th, 2018 Planning Commission meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is roll call. Altoff, Charnell, here. Daniels, Hema, here. Lundell, Pidd, here. Price. And then, how come I didn't get your name?
Because I'm the alternate for Altoff.
Gotcha, perfect.
Okay, Carpenter.
Carpenter is here. All right. That brings us to number 3, which is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I've got a motion by Mr. Carpenter and a second by Mr. Hema. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved or opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to number 4, which is the approval of the minutes. That would be from December 11th, 2017. I wasn't here for that one, but was anyone else that's here
I was.
able to verify? All right, wonderful. Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I've got a motion by Mr. Carpenter and a second by Mr. Hema. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to number 5 on the agenda, which is public input. Citizens may speak to issues not on the agenda. Please approach the microphone and before speaking, give your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Seeing one person, I'm guessing you're here for what's on this agenda.
I believe so.
All right, we're just gonna skip that, I think. It's
Close the public.
Yep. We'll go to a discussion item. Brad Strullo, presentation on possible development on 6th Street North. That's the discussion item here for tonight.
So I will just give a quick little introduction here. Brad has been in contact with me on behalf of the Bartmans, who own multiple lots on 6th Street North. There is a map included in your packet. They are interested in doing a single-family home and multi-family development on their properties that they own. This would be a planned unit development, most likely. And in your packet, there were some sketches of possible home styles of the homes and then a brief overview of their plan. So I will turn it over to Brad, and if you have any questions, you can refer them to him or myself.
Great. Well, thanks for taking the time tonight. So I was talking with Dave at the city, and he suggested, before you go too far down the path, the wisest thing is to come in and have a conversation with you all and say, okay, does this look feasible? Are there any glaring gotchas that would say, boy, this just isn't something that they should pursue? So that's why I'm here to answer questions, have a discussion. I don't know how much about the project you want me to describe or explain, so I'll listen.
I'll start with the most basic one. I assume that for the number of homes and townhomes that it fits these properties.
Yes. So I will just speak to currently all of their properties are zoned R3 or residential 3, which is medium to high density residential. So all of their proposed homes do fit with that zoning. With a planned unit development, it would have to go through a conditional use permit process, which would include coming to the Planning Commission with all of their materials once they are prepared and ready with them, and going through the approval process here, and then going to City Council for approval there.
I know I had a chance to look at it. Ironically enough, Bartman's, she used to babysit my daughter. She was my daycare provider years ago.
Many years, yeah.
Yeah.
And I did it for a bunch of years, got out, came back and did it again for a bunch, so yeah.
Well, I know my daughter sure loved going there.
Yeah.
She also tried to walk home one day.
They all do.
I don't know, I thought it was pretty well put together.
Well, the space seems to provide, adequate sizes and so forth. One of the questions is because there's a bluff and a ridge that goes around the backside, and did some real rough measurements there. The closest that would come to the front side of any lot would be about 145 feet. So they're basically from the front lot to the back edge of where that starts to drop would be a minimum of 145 feet.
Right, I know there's a lot of topography right there. There's a big,
Yeah, what's the
Drop.
terrain like? How's the slope in the back? Does it come down pretty quick?
It does. It does.
Yeah.
It just drops right
Yeah.
down into the park there on the east
which
side
would work
there.
great for a backyard that you don't have to mow and still get to watch squirrels.
Right.
Well, you can still watch the squirrels or whatever and not have to worry so much about mowing on your back lawn.
And based on the depth there, I don't know if you've got the aerial there in front of you? Okay.
Yep.
So the part that would be basically on the north side, which is effectively this side, this is north. North is to your left as you're looking at that drawing. That, again, there's no real topographical change all the way to the back of the lots. It doesn't start to slope until you get beyond that. And the lot directly to the north actually is owned by the city. On the east side of 6th Street there.
So which,
This is the one that shows the lot.
yeah, I got that figured out, but I was just wondering where the houses would go.
Kind of, maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
Actually, I could do it this way, then it does present north, that doesn't really.
It's pretty dark.
Pretty dark, because it's an aerial view there, but essentially what I was referring to is the area here, these lots at the top, which would be representative of 3 lots. So you'd take the one lot here, the first one near 6th Street, and that's already a 60 by 142
Yep.
lot. And then the next lot there, the whole lot would have to be divided into 3 then equal lots.
Divided what?
Into 3
3?
lots there. It's 100 and, so it'd be 60, 60, 60. But they actually would only be using 2 of those.
Where would the access points be to those lots?
It would be from the driveway there, in between the
Which
north and
driveway?
south. The
That-
existing driveway.
The existing driveway?
Yep.
So would you like to have a cul-de-sac in there? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, no, probably not. It'd just be straight in and into a 2-car garage on each property. So similar to what a normal street would provide.
It'd just be a dead-end street.
What's that?
Just be a dead-end street.
Yep.
Like a
Yeah, I got
dead-end
that.
driveway,
Yep.
yeah.
And there's enough slope that the trail doesn't get involved at all or anything?
Driveway here.
Oh, that's gonna be the driveway.
I believe the driveway.
Right in the center.
Driveway is the piece just south of those lots, right?
Yep, the existing driveway.
Yep.
Right.
Oh.
Yep.
No, okay. This is the existing
comes
driveway.
in over here.
I got that,
Yep.
but it doesn't go down. Well, maybe it does. Okay. Just trying to visualize where
Right.
you're gonna have access in and out.
So then the driveways for each one would come to the south side here.
Yeah, that's what I was
Into the
thinking.
main drive.
Yeah, so they're not going out onto 6th Street.
Nope,
The
there'd
one
still
entrance
only
in.
be one access on the 6th, which would make it very safe, I would think.
How are we set for utilities up in that area? Okay.
I am unsure about that. Oh gosh, I have a map, but this area is currently served by utilities, and we would make it work.
So then, okay.
And directly across the street there to the west are all the other townhouses up above the
Yeah.
pool there. That's the area. Yep.
Got the,
And then on the south side, then you're going to split the property roughly in half?
Yeah. If you look at the drawing there, you can't, I wish I could see it better, but there's, as you progress from 6th Street to the east toward the house, there's a turnaround drive there. You can see that on your drawing. And then beyond that, there's some trees and then a lighter spot that runs what would be north and south. That's about the location of where that second lot line would be, about 120 feet east of the lot line on 6th Street.
gonna make an association out of it, huh?
That's kind of the idea. Not really sure. I mean, there are a lot of unanswered questions there, but it would just handle the road, taking care of the road and cleaning things out in there, and it might just be easier. You know, they're considering a 55 and older housing type of situation. And again, I don't know the specifics around that and what's required or not required to get that approved. But again, that would be a nice feature for that population to take care of all the garbage, all the snow removal, the mowing, all of that stuff would just all be handled.
How many bedrooms on the multiple units? Is that
A minimum of 2.
minimum 2 on
Yeah.
everything?
Yep,
They're all, no basements.
right. Everything's slab on grade. And that's really because of, again, the topography and what they could likely run into if they start digging.
all
And
limestone.
It's all limestone on that
Yeah.
hill. And
Solid
there used to
stuff.
be like a brick factory or something up there 100 years ago. I mean, that's what
Probably.
I read someplace, I think. So,
It's possible.
yeah.
Well, I think it looks like it's a good plan. I think it's a good way to. I think having the one access is nice because then you really reduce the amount of areas where traffic's going to enter 6th.
Right, right.
I think that's a great idea.
There's a tendency for people to drive kind of fast on that stretch of road too. So
Yeah.
I like it only one access.
Yeah.
Yep.
How about sidewalks? Do we have a sidewalk all the way up to that area?
There's not.
No.
On the west side of 6th Street is a kind of a painted bike path and walkway.
Yeah,
It's, you
as
know,
I recall, there's
it's not an
nothing
actual
there.
sidewalk, but it's
Connection
a
to the trail
the trail
Yeah.
connection is
Yeah.
there.
Right.
to the, down to the
Yep.
Swan Park.
Yep, yep. That's part of the attractiveness too, is that it's walking distance from downtown, which, you know, as they
It is,
started
yeah.
thinking about it and talking about it, I said, boy, you know, this is something that we don't really have enough of.
When somebody's going to end up with a great lot for viewing the parade out of that. Oh, you laugh, but I'm saying that one person's going to be able to sit right in their yard and watch the parade every 4th of July.
Right, right, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And I think more housing with just the one level, no basement,
Yeah,
is needed in Cannon
absolutely.
as we get older.
Yeah, I did some quick numbers, and you know, in the last 2 years, there's only been like 12 townhouse kind of units or single family, smaller units in the last 2 years that are sold here. And there's just people get them and they stay, you know. So there's
Yeah.
kind of a need.
I'm going to stay in
So are you
denial of getting
partner
older.
with Barton?
What's that?
I'm going to stay in denial of getting older.
Are you partners or are you
I'm just representing
you're
them.
representing
Yep.
them? Will you
Yep.
represent them through all the building process too? If there's
to
issues, will
be
they come to you?
Yet to be defined. Yeah.
That yet to be defined.
Yeah. I'm their real estate agent currently. So
I'm sorry?
I'm their real estate agent currently.
Yeah, they're nice. They're nice people. I know.
Yep. Yep.
Great people.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my daughter's favorite daycares. They
Whatever
always
do,
had something for the kids to do, and
whatever they do, it'll be up
Yeah.
to speed, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're definitely wanting to do it right, and the big concern, even in our conversation, is to not impact the integrity and the viability of their existing home that's there. I mean, they've got a
Yeah.
very, very old home that's got a lot of historic significance,
Right.
and they don't want to, impede
have
that
any-
in any way. So,
Are there any environmental concerns on the, along the side of the trail, how the trail runs on that one side of?
yeah, I mean, I doubt it. I mean, it's a pretty steep drop down over the other side, and where these lots come, it's quite a ways from that trail, actually, probably
You got enough
100 feet.
cushion that, huh?
So the only real concern would be to make sure that they don't add to runoff coming off the property.
Yeah, that'd be a good concern, because
Yeah.
that could, anything you do up on top impacts what comes downhill. Yeah.
right.
impervious
nature always
surface,
wins.
yeah.
Right. Hopefully
yeah.
some grading can accommodate that. I think there's a general slope to the south
Yeah.
and to the west there. If you look at the topography there, I think, I mean,
Yeah.
I have my transit out there, but it seems as though there's kind of a natural slope to the south, which would be away from the trail and the bluff edge.
Super.
Well, there's nothing really to vote on, is there? It's just
No,
kinda,
this
Oh,
was
we're
just
just- yeah.
informational.
Informational and kind of looking for,
Yeah.
from your
Yeah.
perspective, is this something that would be desirable, would be
Very-
acceptable, and to
Very much so.
encourage
I'd like
them
to see
move
that go
forward if they
through.
desire?
yeah. I think the way that it's set up, I really love the idea that all the access is handled on one spot, though,
Okay.
because that really reduces potential for, I don't know, injury, I guess, accidents and.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think it's a nice safety feature for that too, for when you
yeah.
have that dead end.
Mm-hmm.
Because if
Right.
there's a car down there that you don't know, you
Yep.
know.
Again, for that population, it's kind of a nice, you get a little bit of, tree buffer going around on the outside too, and you
Yeah.
kind of
Yep.
get this
Be nice.
nice secluded little spot for them to just kind of be. And, yeah. Okay.
I guess I just have one question for the commission. They're proposing 55, age 55 plus. Is that going with something you would all agree with, or would you like to see?
Yeah, these going to be handicap accessible homes?
Haven't discussed that, but I would, if that population is what they land on and decide to, really would need to be. I mean, it would be foolish not to do it that way.
Or they have to be at least set up so they can be, I
Right,
think.
right. So doorway widths and hallways and things like that would be
Yeah.
needed.
And they're going to be sold units, they're not going to be rented units, or they're going to be,
Correct, correct, yeah.
going to be sold?
Right, yes,
Okay.
yep, yep.
And the association,
Takes care of the snow removal, and
yeah,
Yep, garbage.
that's probably the right way to do it, I think, if you're gonna have, because most of the people that I know that are older, that's one of the reasons they like living in those areas, is because somebody else is gonna mow
I don't-
lawn, they're
I don't
gonna,
want to shovel snow next
I got a
year.
few
Shovel
more
us,
years,
no?
and I'm already thinking about
Everybody
the one
does.
level.
Yeah, yeah. Now, the,
Having to
the,
deal with
the townhomes
anything.
across the street, across Sixth Street, those
Yeah.
are 55 and older, right? That's a
That is.
55, I believe, so,
Behind the
it?
pool there?
yeah,
I think there's one section that's not,
okay.
but the majority of
Yeah,
it.
that's what I thought. So it'd be kind of consistent with what's going on across.
That's
the
always
street,
full.
So, and it's always full, yeah, yeah.
And I think, yeah, there's plenty of demand for something like that.
Okay. Well, good. Well, thanks for your time. I appreciate it. And
Thank you.
Take the
Thank you.
information back to the Bartmans, and we'll continue to have our conversations and see
Yeah.
where.
say hi to Carla for me.
I'll do
Tell
that.
her thank you.
Okay. All right. Will do. All right. Thanks.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, that brings us to number 7, which is Planning Commission member comments. Anybody have anything? What did I miss?
What'd you miss? Snowstorm.
Last week, or last time?
There was no meeting in January.
Well, in December, though. That was the one that I missed.
Has it really been that long since? Yeah.
My son had that
We
orchestra
just-
concert, so.
We rezoned the newly annexed property south of town.
Okay.
Also what?
South of town by the implement
That-
Yeah,
dealership.
that's what we
0.8
did
acres.
last time, yeah.
Yep.
And how many new permits have we gotten?
Oh, so I guess I can do a little report on that. Fun. We did over 150 building permits this past year, which is the most I was able to go back since I work for Goodhue County doing building permits to go back into the records. That is the most permits we've had since before 2008.
Okay.
Wonderful.
So
Have we had any requests on the edges of the city to expand the city limit?
annexation. Yes. Nothing that I can really discuss publicly at this time, but there has been some interest. So we will see what happens this year. I can also say we had 17 new single-family homes built last year, and that is up from in 2016 there were 7.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's over double. So, and all indications are a very similar year in 2018. We already have 1 new home going up already this year, which is very rare because being January, February. So,
Yeah, I see the county wants to do some things around the edges too, a little bit. They want to, but we'll see.
Is there been any progress on that Hardwood Way and how they're going to bring that road through from?
St. Ansgar's?
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
not that I have heard.
they're having trouble with buying some land or something?
I'm not sure.
I
That
know it's on their to-do list.
Well, I know the big problem was the bats.
Oh, that's
I think
right.
they're past that. I think
And MnDOT has to deal with all that stuff too. The new rules are, if you're going to clear trees out, they have to be done by sometime in
Certain
April,
time of the year, yeah.
before the bats come back to start roosting in the trees.
Got it.
Okay.
Well, I was just curious. I know there was definitely some talk about bringing that, that
17
south,
around.
what'd they call that, the southeast collector, I think?
Yeah.
They wanted to bring that up to
Yeah,
19, right?
The last Beacon had a report on that.
Oh, did they?
Where they, and then they mentioned that they hadn't acquired all the property.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know where that's at now.
Well, I know down where Grandpa's garage is, I've heard from one of the guys that's a tenant in there, they're really coming along with that building, what
Yeah,
it's
my
gonna
wife
have.
dragged me in there one day, yeah. She loves it.
Well, he's got some neat stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things happening.
Yes.
Any other comments or questions?
No?
Well, that brings us to number 8, which would be adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
I've got a motion by Mr. Hema and a second by Ms. Charnell. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.